Welcome and thank you so much for being here. This webcast is funded by the U.S. Department of Education Rehabilitation Services Administration. The ideas, opinions, and conclusions expressed do not represent recommendations, endorsements, or policies of the U.S. Department of Education. My name is Ciara Ladroma with Griffin-Hammis Associates, and I am so eager to introduce you to an incredible team that has helped create a small business called Shawn Goes Bananas, based in Tallahassee, Florida. Today's webcast will feature Shawn Rosier's story and how his team has supported him in creating and now growing his food truck, Shawn Goes Bananas. So I am going to have them introduce themselves. So Shawn and Sonya, can you give us a quick hello and just let us know a little bit about you?
Okay, sure. Shawn,
Yes, ma'am.
would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So tell them who you are.
I'm Shawn Rosier.
Okay, and what's the name of your business?
Shawn Goes Bananas.
And what is it?
It's a food truck.
A food truck, and tell them what you serve.
Banana cream pudding.
And what do you like most about it?
It's good.
What do you like most about what did you tell me the other day that you were the what about your business?
I'm the anchor.
He told me the other day he was the anchor of his business. I said, what in a
Way to go, Shawn.
Yes, very much like
And
world
not
listening.
mine.
Yes, very much. I am Sonya Clark Rosier, Shawn's mom. My husband and I came up with this idea somewhere around 2022 and had the pleasure of meeting Russell, some associates from Griffin-Hammis, who introduced us to Monica. And Rhonda Oneslager has been our VR counselor for several years, and we approached her about, basically Shawn Goes Bananas and what we had an idea and what we wanted to do. And she's been very supportive. It has just been a wonderful journey. Just as far as my background, I am a former special education teacher and associate dean. I currently work for the Florida State University Center for Autism and Related Disabilities. So my professional and personal careers kind of intersect.
Thank you so much for being here. I love the shirts.
Thank
Please
you.
make them available for purchase. Both colors are great, but I do love that baby blue, Shawn.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. And then let's introduce the other two on here. Rhonda, can you say hello?
Hi, my name's Rhonda. I was Shawn's vocational rehabilitation counselor. I think I was his counselor for about 3 years,
Yeah.
Sonya.
Yes.
And she did come to me, both her and Shawn came to me asking, about self-employment. In Russell, I think she had said, Sonya said that she spoke with Russell at a meeting about self-employment. And I think we had a meeting and he recommended Monica as maybe a self-employment provider. She was a vendor of vocational rehabilitation, which I was really happy about. So I set up a meeting between Sonya and Monica for them to speak to see if they thought that would be a good fit for both of them and Shawn to work together. And they just ran with it. I mean, I've always heard that it was a very lengthy process for self-employment, that not many clients get through the program or get through the process from the beginning to end. And it was just amazing to watch them. I think they had a vision in mind. Had already probably did a lot of the legwork, and they just were phenomenal how quickly they got through the process. I just sort of coordinated the services for them, but I don't really want to take any credit for what they did. They just did a really good job, and I'm just very proud to be part of it.
I want to point out, Rhonda, how we all shook our heads.
Yeah, I know.
You said, no, you got to take
Integral
that
part.
credit. You have been such an instrumental part of this team, and I've heard such great services from you. And I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for making time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a privilege and an honor. Thank you.
Monica.
Okay.
Monica.
They're after me. How I came to meet Sonya and Shawn is again through Russell. He's here and he can't defend himself, so we're gonna, talk about it behind his back. But at the time, I am what's called a CBTAC, Certified Business and Technical Assistant Consultant, and I contract specifically with Florida Vocational Rehabilitation. And I work with people with disabilities who want to start small businesses. And when I got contacted by Russell, it was like, oh man, because I had quite a few clients and I work differently than some other people. It's really in-depth working with and talking to, and it's like, gosh, can I take on one more? And I thought, well, let me talk to him. Well, of course, we know how that went. I mean, 2 minutes in meeting Sonya, who is a powerhouse, and it was like, okay, I gotta help. I gotta be a part of this. And it was very interesting. I'm going to say that how Sonya told me they came up with this concept was apparently a lot of people have heard about her pudding. And so they were making a batch at home, and she and her husband were realizing just how much Shawn was participating in what they were doing. And they kind of looked at each other and said, hey, maybe we can make a business out of this. And that's kind of how it came about. And I'm just honored to have been a part of it.
An integral part of it.
Yes, a huge part.
Yes. Yes.
Monica, thank you so much for being here. So I would love to just kind of expand on that where, when, and how story, Sonya and Shawn, of kind of just being at home and having that aha moment of, wait a minute, we should do something about this. Because I agree, the Rosiers are powerhouses. You guys have goals and you work towards it, right? And you have this great ability to gather the supports around you and get that almost immediate investment from people, because when you talk about something, you mean it, and you're ready to do the work. So I would love if you could share a little bit more of maybe did that decision happen of, we're going to do this. We're going to make this happen.
Yeah. And actually Monica's alluded to some of it. I had a catering business many years ago. And, like I said, like Monica said, people were still calling me 10 years later about doing this pudding. And so somewhere around, my husband retired from the state of Florida in 2023. So early 2022, as Monica said, we were preparing for a church event. And, my husband was like, this is a lot of work. We got to get ready for 200, 300 people. Shawn can come and help too.
Right.
And so he came in and just started helping based on really him having 3 years of culinary experience at the high school that he attended here. And he just knew what to do. He started crushing cookies and, setting out containers because there were individual cups. And so my husband just kind of looked back and went, Shawn is really helping. I guess he thought he was going to come and goof off. And just like Monica said, he said, I think we could possibly make a business out of this. And that was the aha moment, probably around late spring of 2022. And when I got some time, I kind of just started playing with the logo. And so I hired this guy from Latvia to design, this is actually our third logo, but to design our original logo, which was actually the picture. I don't know if you can see the picture behind me, but there's a picture of Shawn behind me. And he took that and kind of drew it in on top of a guy with a chef's coat on. And so that was kind of the original design. But really how we got involved with Griffin-Hammis, I dug out the book today. And I was preparing for a transition presentation for my job with the Center for Autism. And when you open the front cover, I know you guys can't see this, but it's talking about Lucy Apont here in Florida, who is now deceased. But basically with the Office of with Disability Rights Florida, they had worked with her on a case regarding supported self-employment. And they brought in Griffin-Hammis. And so as I was preparing that Christmas for this presentation the following year, I started reading this. It was just so divine. And I said, who is Griffin-Hammis? Google right now. And I did. I called them after the Christmas break and got in touch with Russell. And Russell said, I think I know someone who might help you, who might work with you in Florida. And I said, put me in touch with her. I'll give her my 2-minute elevator speech. And I promise you. And then Russell said, I said, well, I'm not sure my VR counselor is going to be on board with it. He said, give me 5 minutes with her. Let me talk to her. He said, we'll get everyone on board. And we did. And so, as the story goes, Shawn Goes Bananas is now a reality, and we've been in business now. We've been licensed for almost a month and in business now for almost 2 months, but on paper, 3 months.
Incredible. And so one of my questions was gonna be, who did you reach out to for supports? But you just walked us right through that. So, Rhonda, I would love to know what that conversation was like with Russell, that 5-minute conversation of, hey, we gotta give this a try. Because you had mentioned before that self-employment does take a lot of work.
It
There's
does.
a process, but how did you hear that message and then say, let's do it?
Well, you know what? I didn't even know who he I mean, in all honesty, I didn't even know who Griffin-Hammis, what I didn't even know, or Russell. So when he contacted me, I mean, I knew my job, what I had to do on my end, but I'm like, well, we have to have a self-employment provider, CBTAC. Monica, you can say it all. I just say CBTAC. We have to have a provider. They have to be a vendor of VR. We have to know what the vision is. I said, I heard it's usually like about a 2-year process. And so I just sort of let him know what I know about the process through VR standpoint. And he was like, oh no, we work for, we're part of VR. We're on board with vocational rehabilitation. He said, he, mentioned Monica. He said, oh yeah, she's a vendor. I mean, it's like he knew his job. So, it felt, I felt more, oh, okay, well, he knows what he's talking about. Maybe this is something that, that we can do here. So that's when, we got in touch with Monica. I found out, yes, she was a vendor of vocational rehabilitation. We can set up the self-employment. They can meet, do the benchmarks. We're going to get this business plan going. Then I will take it up the ladder, so we can, we had some meetings when, it was all completed with my supervisor, with the area supervisor to approve the plan, and the expenditures and all of that. So, and I mean, I know, and I felt confident with Monica when I was speaking with Sonya, that it was something that, that she had discussed with me previously about self-employment, about the food truck and so forth. So I knew if she did her homework, then she probably did a lot more than some people that don't really understand the process of self-employment through vocational rehabilitation. It's not like, oh, I want to do um, design t-shirts or whatever. And oh, okay, great. We're going to write you a check and here you go. No, there's a process
Yeah.
that we have to go through. So, and, I was just amazed at how quickly all the benchmarks were, I was getting these reports in, I was getting things paid, things were just moving at a lightning quick pace than what I thought I was informed previously. So, and in the 6 years that I worked in vocational rehabilitation, this was only the second self-employment that even came to fruition all the way from beginning to end. And this was the first supported self-employment. So I was just really impressed with, with their vision and, and I mean, it's perfect for Shawn. I mean, he, has that culinary background through school. He went and got the Safe Serve certification. Sonya went and got her management certification, to be that support. I mean, so just everything was falling in line. They just had that vision and they just went for it. And of course, Monica absolutely was behind it 100%. Did what she, to show that this is a viable business and can be self-supporting, in the future. So it was very exciting. It's probably, as a VR counselor, one of my more exciting, shining moments that, I was really able to see come from beginning to end. So it was exciting to see. So I'm so excited for Shawn and for the family.
Thank
You made some really great points, Rhonda, of how, Shawn, your business is such a good fit to you and your skills and your experience. And then you have the support, my friend, of all of these people to be successful, right? And so
Right.
all of these factors just came together, and y'all did it in just a couple of years. And I mean, you're selling out at events already.
Yes, we're having to turn down events like April is Autism Awareness Month. And we've had to turn down about 4 events already because we have Best Buddies in there. We have our Autism Awareness Soccer Tournament, and everything is just like coming fast and furious. And, like I was saying earlier, I'm beginning to rethink, even the business structure. Like, do we want to go out for just 10 people, or do we want to charge a fee and then go out for those 10 people to make certain that, Shawn makes money? The one thing I have made sure of is that I give him total autonomy. I come to him and say, Shawn, these people have approached us. For example, one of our childhood friends was at the event Saturday that we did, and he works with Team Dads through Healthy Start in Florida. He said, oh, we have a stroller event coming up June 15th. I want you guys to come out and set up. And not knowing that Shawn was ear hustling the entire time. And so when we got home, he said, hey, when's that stroller event? I said, June 15th. We're going to do that with Mr. Kendrick, right? So I've given him total autonomy to say, yes, let's do it. No, let's not do it. I haven't shared this with Monica because she and I have not caught up in the last week or so. But Rhonda, we were approached by, I don't want to call the business's name. I'll tell you later because Monica lives in this Tallahassee area. I'm sorry, Rhonda does. But they have a tavern. So I'm like, I'm not sure we should be setting up at the tavern. Let me get more information.
Right.
So, but it has been coming fast and furious. We do have a wonderful team. Shawn's job coaches through Future Pathways. They have been so supportive, so Johnny on the spot. All of our family members came out this Saturday when we launched in Tallahassee on March 7th. Rhonda was there in person. Monica was there in person. And spoiler alert, that is my favorite moment. I'll just go ahead and say it. All of us together. The word is getting out. And one piece of advice, I know I'm getting ahead, I know you want to go and talk with Monica a little bit, is that it takes a team. That is advice I would give anyone. It has just really taken a really, really phenomenal team and everyone in their wheelhouse doing their thing. For example, our social media rep, she is phenomenal. I told my husband, if no one else gets paid, Zanani gets paid because we have so many people. We have people from Lake Placid, Washington, New York following us, Huntsville, Alabama, people in Mississippi. I'm like, how these people found us, But yeah, it really takes a team and those supports. And everyone has just rallied around Shawn. And it's really served as a model to really reintegrate him into the community, in addition to giving him, supported self-employment that, you don't have to go out to a wage job every day. You can do this 3 or 4 times a week. And if we don't want to go out the weekend of your best buddy's friendship walk, we don't have to do that. We can make up for that later on. So right now we're still in the stages of saying, how many days a month do we want to go out? What is our goal? As I was sharing earlier, the original is selling out everywhere. So we know we really need to stay in that vein. And then decide what special desserts based on what people are really wanting. So it's a process. And
Right.
Monica told me that. She said, you're going to be pivoting and changing. And it's a process and you're totally shaping it based on, as you grow and as you learn.
Right.
Yes. And I really believe that's how you kind of track a business's success, right? Because you have to keep changing, you have to keep shifting. And Shawn, you mentioned that you feel like you are the anchor. A business needs an anchor, my friend. Like we need that boss in order to say, we're going to do this. Or, I don't think we should be doing that right now.
Yeah, he's running that cash register
love
square. He takes over that square. Monica saw him when Monica was here March 7th. Monica was like, well, we're getting a little line. Maybe Shawn should go and hand out. And she was kind of advising them, and it was fine. We got to the event on Saturday here for St. Patrick's Day, and he did not want to give up the square. He liked greeting his customers. He did. He liked, saying $6, $7, accepting the money, swinging it around. I mean, he just took total control to the point that I walked outside, of the truck, and he and his job coach were the only 2 in there, and I felt comfortable doing that, So he's getting more and more comfortable each time.
Incredible. So Monica, as a CBTAC, I believe there should be hundreds of you.
Yes, yes.
There are, so I know that with Griffin-Hammis, we work with Florida and Texas, and that certification is sought out for. There are so many people wanting to become a CBTAC because self-employment is now becoming this very public, very seen, very viable choice
Yeah.
within this population and just in general, right? And so to have the guidance of a CBTAC as you kind of navigate business concepts and start this journey of entrepreneurship, I would love if you could share kind of like the core pieces that you helped with in starting Shawn Goes Bananas.
Sure. I think the interesting thing is I started working with Griffin-Hammis back in, okay, when they had a Medicaid infrastructure grant in Iowa. And I was introduced to Molly Sullivan, and it changed my life on what I could provide and be a support to and so forth. So over the years, I've learned quite a few different ways to support people. And I think my strength is in supporting the person. You learn about Shawn, you learn about what his goals are, you learn about what the family's goals are and so forth. And then, I mean, Sonya was a dream because she had a lot of the supports already built in because Shawn had been working at Small Cakes. So he had gotten some experience there. She brought in the social media person and the accounting person. And I mean, it's like, if you don't know Sonya, there's something wrong with you, you know, especially if you're up in that area. But in terms of working with people, especially on a supported self-employment case, it's really important that it does fit the person. And without a doubt, this is Shawn, you know, and I can even see it in his face. He's different today than he was before.
Yeah.
A lot more confident. Look at you, Shawn.
I know he's all attentive.
Yeah, he is. He's happy, smiling. I mean, amazing. I love it.
Rhonda said it was going to happen, Rhonda. That was one of the things that, you know, Rhonda, Monica, and we all discussed that, you know, coming up with the concept, Ciara, it had to be surrounding and about him, because I knew that if I made it about him, you know, then he would respond to it. And so, you know, it couldn't just be Goes Bananas, like Shawn Goes Bananas and his picture, and really making it, really having him take that ownership and having it really be about him and really serving as a model. You know, of course, to build generational wealth, that's a big thing. To build a legacy for him, that's a big thing. But also, you know, to serve as a model for other individuals that, you know, as you stated a few moments ago, Ciara, this is really becoming almost the norm now. Post-COVID, entrepreneurship, that's the direction that everyone is going in now. And you're able to make a viable living, you know, doing it. So, so why not this population? Why shouldn't they have that same opportunity?
Absolutely.
You know, and Monica has even inspired me. I am kind of just a little bit dipping my toe into becoming a CBTAC. Just a little bit. She's exposed me to a few things already with some of her other clients, but I'm just slowly, because, you know, she's the maestro and she's the master. So having to try to follow in her footsteps, I'm like, okay, I'm learning from the best to ever do it. But, you know, that puts a lot of pressure on me too. So I'm slowly, Rhonda, just slowly kind of going in that direction.
Got a lot on your plate, though.
I do. Yes, I got to let some of this stuff fall off of my plate.
That's right.
Yeah. But it's really been, I think probably the most important word you said was legacy business.
Yes.
I know a lot of clients that come to VR, they have this concern about what's going to happen to their children when the parents are no longer there.
Right.
And we have created a business for Shawn that he can, with supports, maintain for the rest of his life and be in more control of his life as he gains more and more experience, like we did with the cash register and so forth. he's really going to be able to say and speak well for himself, to be able to speak up, defend himself, and to say what his needs are, what his wants are, and so forth. And that's the beauty of what I get to be a part of.
Right.
Absolutely.
Enhancing that independence. And I know that's a big thing at vocational rehabilitation was, we're assisting those with disabilities, not only obtain and maintain employment, but to enhance their independence. So this is definitely in line with that, in full support of it, always have been. So, this, like I said, is really a shining, moment, I think, for especially VR Tallahassee vocational rehabilitation, to see this supported self-employment really take off and, just see how it can change, Shawn's life, for the better. So it's just everything, all the stars aligned, everything came together so perfectly. So
So, Shawn, there is this common message that everyone here is saying, you've got a different energy. You're coming off real confident and you look good. How I would love for you and Sonya to speak on that, of how has becoming an entrepreneur and now on your third month, how has that changed your life?
Good.
Yeah. How does it affect your life?
Makes you feel good. My life-
Tell Ciara.
Yeah, my life feels good.
Feel good? You feel confident?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. Tell her about the calendar. Do you have to have a copy of that calendar?
Yeah.
He has to have that calendar, like, April, Mom, I need to see the calendar, know what's on it, who are we going to be with, where are we going, all of that. And he just takes ownership. He gets and tell him about when you go into the trailer, what do you do with those bags?
Let's just do it.
What the bags, that we hand out the pudding in, what do you do with the bags?
You just canned it.
Well, yeah, well, you take them out the thing, but you have to, hang them up. You have to hang them up. You set the cash register up.
Hand them up.
And all of our products are, we're technically licensed as a processor through the Department of Agriculture. So everything is prepackaged in our commissary. Shawn does all the labeling. He does all the food processing of the cookies, all of that. He handles all of that. And you know what? I don't even remember Shawn taking a break he took a couple of breaks on March 7th, ladies, you guys were there, maybe 1 or 2 times, but I think we had to tell him. And I don't remember him taking a break Saturday. So he really wants to be there. You kind of want to be in the mix.
Yes, ma'am.
Of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
He came out of the trailer a couple of times, handed product to individuals, took pictures for Facebook.
I saw them.
Yes, took pictures of our first customer on Saturday. He came out and smiled with her. So yeah, I mean, really just taking ownership. And so I can just only imagine, I'm just gonna say by the end of this year, just the what the improvement in progress that we'll see, with Shawn.
Yes, absolutely. So I would love if y'all could share kind of the experience in working together as a CBTAC, as a family, as an entrepreneur, and as a voc rehab counselor. How did that kind of teamwork happen? Was there any challenges, or how often did you even update one another?
Monica, you want to speak to that? I'll let Monica speak to that first, either she or Rhonda. Challenges with us.
Yeah, everybody has a different role. And in our particular case, I've been doing this enough and have made enough mistakes in learning how to do my job that I have found different ways I can try to make it easier for the VR counselors. Especially because some are very apprehensive. They say, I don't know anything about business, and I don't. And the one thing I've been doing this long enough is Griffin-Hammis made this process. They laid it out, they did the training, and I trust the process.
Right.
If I go through the steps, I know that we have touched on pretty much every aspect of the business and have done our research and really come up with what we feel is a viable plan. I went back and looked, Sonya, you and I first started talking around January 18th of 2023.
We sure did. Yeah.
And then we submitted your plan in September of 2023. That is not normal because I'm working with Superwoman over there. In October, we had our meeting and they suggested a few changes. And then your plan was approved on November 7th.
Yeah.
Okay, then the implementation starts. That means getting the trailer built and getting all the supplies organized and so forth. And then you had your grand opening on March 7th.
Yeah.
And that was a tremendous day.
It was.
was full of love and
Uh,
everybody supportive and a very safe way
mhm,
for Shawn to get his first exposure,
mhm,
you know, and with family and friends and supporters. And I mean, his best buddy came and
oh,
it was just a wonderful day.
it was.
It
And
was.
so what we tried to do is do the benchmark. Sonya and I would work at least once a week, if not more often.
Yes.
We would do GoToMeeting or Zoom type things and work together. And then we would submit the reports to Rhonda. And I always had to, Sonya will tell this, I would help with some of it, but she's such a good writer that she did the majority of the writing because it has to be, in essence, Shawn's plan through his mom, who's helping with this. Okay. And then we submitted all the benchmarks, kind of kept Rhonda up to date.
Mhm.
And then it does take a while for implementing on certain plans. You know, it took a couple months to get the trailer built and you know, and everything into place, but it came together. And we were making changes up till the very end. You know, are we
Yes.
going with Department of Agriculture or
Yes.
is it, you know, I mean, it's like one says yes, the other one says, no, you need to go see them. You know, so there's always those moving pieces that you can never plan for, but that we handled, I think, pretty well. And I think it's a very good experience for everybody,
Yes.
including the VR counselor.
Yes.
And I
it
will say Rhonda knew that she was moving over to another agency. And
Mhm.
she really kind of front end loaded a lot of stuff before she
did.
left.
She did.
We didn't want her to go. We were kind of dragging her back, you know. But by her doing a lot of front end work, it really did make things go fairly smooth.
And I know that you had mentioned that, you know, having more CBTAC providers, and not only that, but those that are really know their job and are good at it. And Monica's just one of those. She's been doing it for so long, and so when she had they had the plan up and running, already had some vendors in line. I mean, it was a dream for me being a VR counselor as well because I didn't have to go out there and try to find vendors and all of, you know, those things that, you know, are sort of expected of some of the counselors, you know, and which can make it very difficult.
Very
Um,
good. Yeah.
so, you know, I was like, oh, you really do that. I was so excited. You've got vendors that, you know, we can work with. And, you know, and I was able to set up Shawn as a client, what do they call it? Client of VR
Maintenance.
that way. So
Mhm.
we could do reimbursements for, you know, if we didn't have certain vendors. So, you know, it really did work out very well, but it was because there was a lot of people involved that know what they're doing.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I agree, we need more well-trained CBTAC providers that really, you know what they're doing and have that experience. So we were very blessed and lucky to have Monica
Yes.
available
Yes.
to work with us.
Same with
As
Rhonda too, because Rhonda, I think what Rhonda brought to the table is that, you know, she stated earlier she had been a tech. So
Mhm.
she knew the process. And I think with her being, you know, a counselor, she knew what information the tech needed. She knew how to prepare everything, you know, structure everything so that made it easier for the tech. And I would just say, you know, Monica's absolutely right. She front loaded a lot of things before she left. And her director, Wayne Jennings, I saw Wayne at something we were doing together because we always, you know, we're always
Right.
Central Office was always set up side by side with blind services at every event we do. And so I saw Wayne and I said, how much more time do I have with Rhonda? And I think he said, we're looking at about 2 to 3, 4 weeks. So I told Monica, okay, this is what we got to get done because her director and the director told me he's thinking about 2 to 3 weeks. they're going to make that shift. But she was just phenomenal, just very supportive. But I think with her having been a tech, I think that
Yes.
makes it so much easier, for us.
It does. I mean, I think it did, and it helped move things along. And, it was always important to me as a counselor, not only, to support the client, but make sure we keep the vendors happy because, we need to keep those services for the clients and we want to make sure our vendors get paid. So that was important as well. So, I'm sort of behind the scenes trying to coordinate everything, making sure, vendors are getting paid and making sure that I'm connecting with, with my supervisor and with the area director and making sure we get the plan approved. And I just want to mention that the area director was very impressed with the plan, very well put together. He said one of the best ones he'd seen. So, which attests back to the fact that Sonya and Monica really, worked hard, knew what they were doing, and put forth a really good, solid plan. And we don't just approve, I mean, it's a substantial amount of money, I must say, for any state agency to put forth, and they're not going to do that unless they feel that it's a business that, eventually will be self-supporting. So, good job. I mean, I'm just really impressed with how everybody worked together and how everything came together. But I know it wasn't just luck. It was a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Rhonda, can you share how Voc Rehab helped Shawn Goes Bananas acquire funding to start kind of getting the food trailer and food truck together?
well, basically, like I said, we have to have a plan, a business plan, and it has to have strategic marketing and different, as Monica knows, the various benchmarks that have to be touched on. So it was a pretty thick plan that was developed over, almost close to a year.
Mhm.
Um, and so it was, brought to both my supervisor and the area director, and they had to review it to see if they felt that it was an appropriate plan, one that would be, like I said, self-supporting over, so many, what Monica, what is it at, profitable after 2-3 years, something like that. I'm not sure
Yeah,
exactly.
and you guys, because he's a supported self-employment case, you follow along, or VR follows along with
Right.
the client for longer,
Mhm.
to make sure. What I love, there's so many things I love about VR. I love the fact that they give, if you do the work and you lay out the foundation, they will give you an opportunity that nobody else will.
That's right. That's
And
right.
it's such an incredible gift. The other thing is we keep in mind is this is startup. We
Mhm.
didn't fund everything ongoing for Shawn's business.
Right.
Right.
What
That's right.
does he need to get started up
Mhm.
Correct.
and maybe have a couple events
Mhm.
and he will start reinvesting and so
Mhm.
forth. And
Mhm.
so I always tell my clients, this is a needs list, not a wants
Right.
list,
That's right.
and if there's something that we can put off that you can buy 6 months down the road because we don't need it to get you started, so we really do. And we talked a lot about the dollars in
Yes.
terms of being respectful of the dollars.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Monica does a really good job with and Rhonda and Monica can speak to which benchmark it is. The innies and outies with those 4-year projections. Oh
Yeah,
my God, Ciara, I have an extreme fear of frogs, but I have an even more extreme fear of numbers. So when Monica was like, you got to put together, I'm like, oh, but she walked me through it, with such precision. And in terms of the simplicity, is innies and outies. This is what's coming in. This is what's going out. This is how you balance this. And she had a spreadsheet that, I'm sure after years of doing this that she had created. And once you put the number in, it was just like an Excel spreadsheet that readjusted, and it just made me feel so much more comfortable. That was the one I think it took us the longest, Rhonda, to submit. It probably took us a couple months on that one alone because I was like just so fearful.
right.
But that's where, someone who has that area of expertise comes in to really help you through that.
Right. And that's why VR, relies on our CBTAC providers to let us know, is this really a viable business? As a counselor, there's no way I can know about every profitable, unprofitable business. we're dealing with hundreds of clients.
Yeah.
So I really had to rely on Sonya and Monica to really say this is something that can really be profitable. Because there's no, I wouldn't know. I'm not a CBTAC provider, and that's why we're so blessed to have Monica. That really, was able to guide Sonya and help and believed in the business. So.
Well, and I would think that one of the things is no matter who you're working with self-employment, there is always some aspect of your business that you do not like.
That's right.
Okay. And what I've come up with for my clients is this innies and outies and a spreadsheet that educates them on how does it work. And it's going to say, okay, if you're going to have someone else do your books quarterly, you need to know what they're showing you.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's enough to teach them to be educated and know what to look for and look for those innies and outies. Why did this bill get paid? I didn't order that,
Mhm.
and to be able to have a little bit of control on their business and always kind of keep their eye on their money.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right, I've got 2 more questions for the group, and then Shawn, if you want to share your PowerPoint towards the end of this, that would be beautiful. So question is, in all of your positions and perspectives, what is one piece of advice that you would share to your counterpart? So Monica, what is something that you would share to another CBTAC who is supporting another family or team? Rhonda, what would you share to other voc rehab counselors throughout the nation? And then Rosier, so what would you share as the client, the ones who's saying, I want to do this?
I will say that I know that I work differently than other CBTACs I've met. For me, it is only about the person that I work with. And so I really do try to focus everything around there. The beauty of working with Shawn and in a supported self-employment case is a little different because you're never going to be working with just the client.
Mhm.
You're going to have his family members. There are a lot of dynamics in the scene. And I've had some supported self-employment cases that really could have worked, but because of family dynamics, it got in the way. So it is very difficult because you have to kind of look at the whole person and the whole picture. But so in my giving advice to other CBTACs, if they want to know something and know how I do something, I am more than happy to talk CBTAC for hours and hours. But I know based on my experience and what I've heard and seen from other people, I don't work the same way. And I would never ask someone to work the way I work. I'm available to my clients 24/7. I am self-employed. I get it. If you're at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to make this spreadsheet work, if I can help you in 5 minutes on a GoToMeeting, I'm going to help you. And then I'm going to go back to bed. You got to stay up and work. But so I have a little different approach. Some other people do a lot in writing and emails and so forth. For me, that is like, I need to see their face, talk to them as a person. So I do work a little different. And the one thing that made this goes so fast, and I will sing her praises, is Sonya is such a beautiful writer.
Oh,
That's the toughest part of being a CBTAC for me. It's not working with the client and doing the research on what this business is and what are we doing. It's getting it down on paper, and she's so beautiful at it. And so that's why it went so smoothly.
thank you.
Thank you, Monica. What about you, Rhonda and Rosiers?
Go ahead, Rhonda.
I guess I would tell any vocational rehabilitation counselor regarding self-employment or supported self-employment is, you really want to listen to the client and see what their vision is. And, if you feel that it is something that's possibly viable, I was always in for, we can set up a meeting. We can set up a meeting with the CBTAC. You can discuss the vision and we can move forward. It really has to do with the client and the CBTAC provider working. I mean, if there's roadblocks, if they're not moving forward, it's just not going to happen. So that's the thing, is they had a vision and they just moved through the process. And that's basically, if the client isn't motivated or they don't have everything together for their employment, their self-employment, it's just not, VR will not fund it. So I'm all for, okay, if we feel it's, that it's something that you have a passion about, that maybe, well, so I'll get that meeting set up. But that it's really basically in the client's hands after that, to see, if it's going to move forward. Because there is work involved. The clients have to do work. It's not, like I said, they're not going to come in, I want to do a t-shirt business and we're going to write a check. I mean, there's a lot of work involved in it. And they have to really be willing to go and go to work and make it a reality, which is exactly what happened here. So, but like I said, I'm all for moving forward if they have a vision and setting them up with those supports and see what happens. Because I would never really want to, just stomp on someone's dream, if it can happen, so, but I knew if Sonya was behind it, it must be it was, she was serious about, because she's
Yeah.
a go-getter. So I'm like,
Yeah.
sure, absolutely, yeah, I'll set up that meeting. We'll get it situated. And they just got the ball rolling, and I was just sitting there, just keeping things moving along. So
One thing I would like to add, and I think Rhonda, you and I, that was our first case together. But what I love about the process, that this training that has been put together by Griffin-Hammis, is it is okay to go to the steps. And let's say you get it to benchmark 4 and you determine by doing your due diligence that, you know what, this really isn't a good idea. That VR is willing to invest for you to go through all those steps because they want to give the right options to their clients. And I've had some that have gone to benchmark 3 or 4, and we realize for whatever reason that they need traditional wage employment. It could be because they cannot operate without knowing they're getting a check every Friday, or, there's other dynamics. And so not every case that I take on goes to fruition and gets, a completed plan and so forth. But that process, it teaches that client a lot about themselves too, as we go through.
Absolutely.
good point, Monica. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
You.
I would say for us, probably patience. Probably patience, and just knowing that it's going to take a team, that you can't do it all alone, and that everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a role to play, and they're part of the team. It's just like a baseball team: the pitcher, the catcher, first baseman. We all had a role to play, and we all saw that that this was something that was viable for Shawn, and we all had an invested interest in getting it done. And as you can already see in 2 events, 2-3 months, the changes that we're starting to see. So I would just give the advice to families to just really go forward. Like Rhonda said, if it's a viable plan, you have that vision, the support in place, and absolutely pursue it.
Right.
And like Monica said, if you get to a point you realize maybe we should do something different, but at least you've had that opportunity, and at least you took advantage of that opportunity. So I'm thankful for the state of Florida, because I know Florida and Texas are 2 of the states that kind of allow you to dream big, and will invest in that. So I'm really thankful for that.
Wonderful. Okay, last question, and then we get to see that cool PowerPoint. Can you share a memorable moment or a celebration that you've all experienced together?
We've shared that one.
I'm gonna say mine. I have 2 things. The first time I actually really got to hug Sonya, because we had done everything virtual for a year,
Yep,
Mhm.
and it was so wonderful to finally meet her in person.
same here.
And then the other thing was I finally got to taste this damn pudding.
Yeah.
It is really good. It is really good. I've been hearing about it for a year,
Yep.
and I needed to taste this pudding.
Well, I
She
heard
mentioned
from,
that to me several times too. I need to taste that pudding.
I know it, yeah. Well, I don't know if you ladies remember, but Chase Bank sent 3 representatives to our launch. And so I got a call yesterday from a 904 number, which is, obviously Jacksonville, Duval County. I'm like, who's calling me? It was one of the Chase Bank's reps that was here at Shawn's launch. And she said, I'll be there on Tuesday, March 26th. And I wanted to find out if you could do some pudding for me and some of my friends, and I could meet you to pick it up if you don't have an event in the area. So I texted her back this morning and told her, I was like, Patrice, absolutely, just let me know when and where. But I was like, okay. But I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. My next door neighbor came to the event on Saturday, and he said that pudding was like creamy and dreamy. He said it's like, and he said, I'm not even a sweet person. That's what I liked about it, that it was like not really sweet, but it was really creamy. So I'm glad you all enjoyed your pudding.
So Rhonda and Rosier, what about you? What's a moment that you can just remember about like some sort of celebration?
Well, of course, for me, basically, it was being able to go to his grand opening. And I was able to personally meet Monica for the first time. I've talked to her so many times on the phone, and being able to meet her in person, and to see the food truck, and to go inside and see how nice it was, and to see Shawn sitting there, at the front window serving people, and just seeing everything come together, and seeing proud mom up there talking to everybody, and so that was a really, really great moment.
Yeah, same with me. Really getting to meet Monica in person. Rhonda and I run the same circles when we're doing public awareness with our other jobs. She and I have been side by side a couple of times at events, and so we know each other outside of VR and card. But yeah, that was my proudest moment. The launch, meeting Monica in person, us all being together in that
Right.
same space. Really able to see the fruits of our labor.
Right.
That made it really worth it. So that was a memorable moment for us. Would you say your launch was really a
Yeah.
good time? Did you have a good time at
Yes.
FSU?
Yes.
And they've already asked us to come back, by the way. Dr. Wood said, I want you guys to come back.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. So Shawn and Sonya, do you want to walk us through your PowerPoint?
Yes, and it is very short because we've already talked through everything.
Perfect.
But of course, Shawn's logo, and Shawn has autism and an intellectual disability, which makes this all the more amazing. And we talked about him being previously employed at Small Cakes, and what the mobile unit was. So it's really we've talked through quite a bit of this. Wanted to thank our CBTAC Monica and Rhonda for all of their support in making this come to fruition. And this is the day he took delivery of the trailer. I thought that was so important. He put on his hoodie, went out there, and Mr. Tim backed it in. And my husband had just had a guy come in and cut some trees down. So that's why you see that little stump there. And Shawn was just so happy that day. And I was literally in tears that day. But what I really want to share is our contact information. We are very close to almost 200 followers already on Facebook and Instagram. And our website, oh my God, we have Tanya Cropper with, oh my God, she is our website developer. She is phenomenal. And Shawn Goes Bananas is already getting so many different hits. Everyone has talked about the professionalism of the website, how it looks, the professional shots that he took, photo shoot and everything. And so we're just really excited. But social media has really driven, people to his site, requesting different things. Like I said, we've had to turn down bookings. But yeah, so that's pretty much our PowerPoint. Just to share a little bit about, his social media, where you can find us online. And we just hope in a year from now, when we talk and follow up, everything is going even better. progress has really been made, that it will be self-sustaining, because I estimate in the next, I'm thinking by May or June, that's when we'll really start to see,
Right.
Shawn is making this much per month. So I give us a couple of months to kind of build up cash flow and kind of balance out everything. So look at Monica.
What was that? Cash flow?
Yeah, build up cash flow. So yeah, so I think once we get some more reimbursements in, but we're already starting to see, kind of see the wheels turning. They've already sent us our first sales tax request.
Oh,
for
of course. Of course.
We got to get the state of Florida paid and keep those sales tax turned in. Yeah, but we're really excited. But I am just so thankful for to share this space with all of you.
Me too. Thank you so much for just sharing your journey as a team. Shawn, I cannot wait to visit. I've never been to Tallahassee, but I now have a reason to go. And so one of my memorable moments will be trying the pudding. Like
Yes.
I crave it now.
I know. I'm
I know
sitting
how
here
that is.
and I'm like, I need some banana cream pudding.
Banana cream
So
pudding. I
good.
know. Yeah, one
Oh.
of our customers said, "Thanks for creating a pudding that doesn't have bananas in." I said, "No, you can add the banana topping. You can add strawberries, and that's been the most requested fruit is the strawberries, which is like so weird to me."
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
All right, crew. Thank you for being here. And for those tuning in, thank you for following Shawn Goes Bananas journey. You can check out the other webcasts available on the Center on Self-Employment website. Otherwise, we will catch you in future webcasts. Thank you.